Plus, another round of wet weather impacts the Beehive State. We've got treacherous travel on the way. How much more snow is expected for the high country? Answers in Utah's most accurate forecast.
And I'm Dana Green, live at Vivint Arena. Donovan Mitchell is back in town. What will the fan reaction be to his much anticipated return to Utah? We're going to hear from Mitchell himself coming up in sports.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Good evening, I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us. Tonight we are tracking storms in the state and whether you'll get hit with rain or with snow. That's the question this morning. A clear demonstration of all the wet weather piling up the last few weeks. Luckily, no one was injured in a natural avalanche right off the highway. But you're seeing just how much snow piled up at the base of Bridal Falls, taking with it rock and debris. Utah Highway Patrol pleading with motorists not to stop for a photo op because of the dangerous conditions with this heavy rain and the loose snow.
And a different kind of danger in Draper City. Dog parents could be kept up at night by pups with cabin fever after snow melt and some rain flooding out this dog park. City officials advising postponing your puppy playdate until those floodwaters dry up.
Ooh, okay, floodwaters on the ground already and more moisture coming on the way. Alana?
Yeah, who rang the bell? Round 2 is here because we've got valley rain and mountain snow, and it's not messing around. We're going to start with that storm tracker radar where you can see exactly where this second wave has filled in just the last hour. We've watched this really take over in the West Desert. We're going to take that view down to southern Utah where we know the Southwest Desert dealing with rain in St. George, Cedar City, and we've got the snow line right around 5,500 feet. We jump over to I-70 towards Moab. We've got rain there, but let's get closer into the Salt Lake Valley. We've got snow up towards the benches. That snow level between 5,500 and 6,500 feet. Rain has filled in the Tooele County area. We are watching this because it is important, folks. It's a squall line, and a squall line could move through and impact a portion of Box Elder County up here, as well as the western end of Tooele County. When that happens, we see visibility drop. So we know that moisture is going to pack a punch, and it's not the only area that we're going to be dealing with treacherous travel. Okay, taking that live look right now, we can actually show you what it looks like as the rain and the snow continues to come down. This is Sundance Mountain, where they've seen 20 inches since yesterday. Let's look at some of those totals, giving you a pretty good idea of what we've been facing up there in the high country. Brighton getting 17 inches, 19 at Deer Valley Solitude. This is just since 6 a.m. yesterday. So you can imagine that avalanche danger, which you saw at Bridal Falls, is high, and it's high for the central and southern Wasatch, and it's going to remain that way as we get through the next 24 hours. Considerable danger in the northern, western Uintas and Skyline Range, eastern Utah also tapping into that. Now, the snow is going to pile up. We're going to look at the timing and how much additional snowfall is expected. And will we see the valley rain switch to snow? It's a question I'll answer coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, back to you.
Alana, thank you. Now to the deadly shooting in Paiute County. A 17-year-old boy arrested after the county sheriff found a 16-year-old girl shot dead along a dirt road.
Today, we are learning more about who that teen is, including his criminal history. ABC4's Annika Johns joining us from the studio with more on that. Annika?
Yeah, so we've been able to gather new information regarding the 17-year-old boy who's been accused of killing a 16-year-old girl in Paiute County Sunday evening. In early September of last year, the suspected shooter was arrested for second-degree felony of aggravated assault, resulting in serious bodily injury, and a Class B misdemeanor for assault, bodily injury, or substantial risk of bodily injury. At this time, we don't know if these cases have been resolved, but the man is now facing aggravated murder charges for the events of Sunday evening that shook their small town.
It's pretty heartbreaking to see this kind of thing happen in a small community like this. It's just like losing one of our own family members.
Talking with community members in Paiute County, I was told over and over again that things like this just don't happen in their small town. We'll continue to update this story on air and online at abc4.com as more information is gathered. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Annika. In Saratoga Springs tonight, a traffic stop turning to a police chase, then attempted home invasion. It all ends with the suspect shot dead. Now an investigation underway into 3 Saratoga Springs officers who shot and killed the man. Today, the chief telling us he stands behind his officers' response, especially because of what the man had in his hand.
Even after he'd been shot and fell to the ground, he still had the gun in his hand.
Chief Andrew Burton says the man was heading into a home to evade police. He believes if the man made it inside, the suspect would have taken the sleeping family, including children, hostage. The suspect's name has not been released.
And also in Saratoga Springs, a woman filing a complaint against the city. She claims her legitimate concerns for safety were ignored by the police department. And beyond that, she says an officer sexually assaulted her.
ABC4's Kayla Baggerly reporting in Saratoga Springs tonight, walking us through the series of events the plaintiffs reference in the suit.
This picture, Chantel.
Okay, this is when I was shot in the eye in our driveway.
By a BB?
Mm-hmm.
Chantel Jones says this and a slew of other acts in 2019 caused her to call Saratoga Springs police, like her car tires being slashed, car and home windows being shot by BBs, and her car being keyed.
As anybody would do in a situation like that, Chantel reported these to the police regularly.
She claims they did not believe her and acted improperly, such as searching her home, following her on errands, and parking near her home. She has now filed a complaint against the city of Saratoga Springs.
I've never felt like that before. It was a very, very scary position to be in. Yeah.
She says one officer told her the police were trying to charge her criminally, and he was the only one on her side. She claims he used his position of power to sexually assault her 2 different times. She says he threatened her that if she reported him, she would suffer further adverse police action. She says when she did report him to police, she was dismissed, except by one detective who was suspended and later fired.
This is really hard to become public. This is not something I want to do, as far as it's hard to put myself out there in this way. However, for other people, I don't want anyone to ever experience what our family's gone through.
Kayla Baggerly reporting for us tonight. We did contact the city to get their side of the story, but they said they do not comment on pending litigation.